Oreille County, I would like to talk to you about legislative priorities for 2025. I'm going to start with a tip for engaging your legislators. I've sort of softly polled a lot of the legislators over the years. When is the best time to drop brand new legislation? And the answer largely seems to hover somewhere between May and June, right? This is enough time that the dust has settled from 2024's legislative session, but gives the legislators enough time to build momentum, support, recraft the bill, legal to work through it, maybe get a co-sponsor on the other side of the aisle. Plenty of time to work on the bill if you do it in May or June. If you drop a bill on your legislator in November, December, that's a big ask. That's a big ask. That's an uphill battle for those folks. So I would just ask you to keep that in mind. We had the discussion about county priorities. And when I say county priorities, I want to be clear. This is for the Washington State Association of Counties. So here are the rules. 3 rules. Rule number 1, it has to pertain to county government, right? Something that is inside our headlights. It isn't broadly construed for the citizens of the county, although it affects all of you. But this isn't abortion, and this isn't gun control. This is specifically conduct of county offices. Rule number 2, of course, Republicans get their butt kicked in this state. And rule number 3, so does remote rural America. Hopefully that'll change before too long. But in the meantime, keep those in mind. We have to fight for everything we get in this county. This should be no surprise to anyone. Roads, specifically funding for roads, is what we're talking about. We are facing a fiscal cliff. When the gas tax was implemented, counties were getting 3 cents per gallon. Now gas is 3-4 times what it was. Then we're only getting 4 cents per gallon. So our cost at the pump has skyrocketed, but counties get 1 penny more per gallon. If you combine that with the fact that at the time the gas tax was instituted, vehicles were getting 8 to 12 miles per gallon, and now they have hybrids that get 70, 80, 90 miles per gallon, and regular old gasoline cars that get mid-30s. It's just a lot less money, and it's not enough. It's not even close to enough. And then we don't have to talk about inflation, what materials cost, how far those dollars just don't go anymore. So the state has an obligation here, and they've really got to step up. So we're going to find creative solutions for that. One of the things that our Public Works director has identified as a possibility, where we can't make broad sweeping changes, sometimes we'll just work for a carve out for impoverished counties. We'll call it equity, right? That's the flavor of the month. And that is that we don't have the matching funds for a lot of these grants, right? So you pay tax dollars to the state, and the state gives us some back, and then a lot of the rest is reserved for grants. Well, if Oreille County is going to compete with Pierce, Snohomish, King County, and their 6-figure lawyers crafting their grants, then we need an edge. We're just not playing on a level playing field there. If somehow we were able to get the grant, would we be able to match for matching funds, right? It might be 10%, it might be 25%, some of the bad ones are 50%. And the answer is no, we simply don't have millions of dollars laying around. So maybe a carve out for impoverished counties to not have to, to have a match waiver or something along those lines. And we've had, certainly Senator Short has had some success with carving out rural counties. And then if you were paying attention, you watch Joel Kretz introduce a Frontier Counties bill last year. And so maybe this is a way that we can kind of piggyback on that, and we would be considered a frontier county, and maybe frontier counties, not rural counties, but frontier counties could be carved out of match requirements. So we'll play around with that and see what ideas they have. This is one that all 39 counties are facing right now. And I simply refuse to raise your taxes to sort this out. but we want you to be safe, right? And that's really what we're talking about here. This changes your quality of life. We want you to be safe. I happen to believe the state has enough money. I believe they prioritize it poorly. And so the ask is to give us what you already have. The ask is not to raise taxes for roads. Second legislative priority, and we have a long list. I'm just going to talk about 3 today. This one, for lack of a better term, I'm going to call the Family Lands Act, and this is a theme that has come up over my term. Commissioner Gentle, I've got a lot of land out here in the middle of nowhere, and I just want to pull off an acre so my son or my daughter can come live by us and build a home and take care of us. We can age in place with our support system right here. And the answer is no. In some places, the answer is no. You can't segregate 1 acre under the Growth Management Act. Depending on your levels of service, you might not be able to segregate 10, 20 might be the minimum. And for obvious reasons, that's just less than ideal in a number of cases. So Family Lands Act would essentially be just, it would be a carve out in RCW under the Growth Management Act that would remove more of the encumbrances from your land, specifically when you were transferring that land in some capacity, selling or gifting land to your own family member. As far as I'm concerned, the government can mind their own business. Your land, your family, there should be no rules. Or something awfully close to that. I don't care if it's 1 square yard or 100 acres. It should be free. It should be simple, and you should just let us know you've done it. You shouldn't even have to ask for permission. I don't know what will get carved out here, but certainly if I could bring that down from 20 acres, 10 acres to 2.5, 1 acre, sub 1 acre, and really cut out a lot of the restrictions on those, that would be amazing. There are plenty of ways your land can be encumbered in the state of Washington, and nothing but opportunity to lose it. And in as much as we can keep these in the families that have them, we sure like to do that. This one may be signature legislation from Oreille County. I don't know if anything like this exists, and if it doesn't, then we're going to write it. So, but it has been kind of elevated in recent years to a higher priority. And then the third one that we're going to take a very active role in, we will call this the Certified Operator Pilot. What we're talking about is a workforce development pilot program funded by the state. And the idea is this: when your wastewater treatment plants and your freshwater treatment, your freshwater supply fails prematurely for lack of maintenance or deferred maintenance, it costs the taxpayers millions of dollars, where training a certified operator would cost the taxpayers thousands of dollars. And it's easier said than done. We've sort of seen this in Cusick and kind of the struggles they're having right now. These are multi-million-dollar facilities, and small towns can't always raise those dollars and can't even always qualify for the grants, right? That's all done on a back of a volunteer somewhere who's going to sit down and write that grant. And so the idea here is if you hypothetically, if you could have 3 rural towns in a 30-mile radius, then maybe they would employee share for a certified wastewater, freshwater operator. That would enable them to pay bigger wages, hold on to this person, because as soon as you get these certifications, of course, Stevens County will take you, Spokane County will definitely, heck, Bonner County will even take you, and all of those guys pay more than we do. So we'd like the state to step up and say, hey, we can really save a lot more than we spend by providing some of the rural areas. And listen, even King and Pierce and Snohomish County, they've got rural areas. Get some certified folks in there, get the maintenance done, right? It doesn't make any sense to be surprised when you didn't put oil in your rig that it blows up on you one day, much sooner than it would otherwise. So we like these. Notable mentions, and I say notable mentions, we are taking a supportive role. I'll just do law enforcement here. There are more appropriate organizations to run this up, and that's why we're taking a supportive role. This is all of it. This is law enforcement, corrections, dispatch. It's dollars. It's the rules around it. Of course, you've seen a lot of the pursuit rule changes. You've watched them take away our men and women in uniforms tools over the years. So something we very much support, but there are organizations better suited to run this up. And then the fifth is going to be broadband. And broadband is the same in that regard. Pend Oreille County, the county offices of Pend Oreille County are spectators on this one. We're on the bench. We don't have any direct work with broadband, and so we would take a supportive role here. That would be supporting the PUD or getting legislative changes to open it up to be a competitive bid process instead of being locked down by maybe one company here in Pend Oreille County. So this is what we've got. I'll put my number here, because we've got just a little bit of time. We've got a few more weeks where we can take suggestions and maybe still get something written. So if you have other ideas for what we should be running up that pertains to county government but improves the quality of life of the citizens of Pend Oreille County, 671-5590. Give me a call. We'll chat about it, and I will talk to you guys before too long.